This is The Blockchain Show. Go! The Blockchain Show is a podcast that demystifies cryptocurrency and distributed ledger technology.
You're listening to episode number 94.
Hello, and welcome back to The Blockchain Show, and thank you for downloading this podcast. This week, we've got some interesting developments on the decentralized betting exchange. Yes, if you're interested in betting, spread betting, or making some money by your knowledge on anything to do with cryptocurrencies or other areas of betting, then this is going to be of interest to you. And so I'm going to hand you straight over to Chris, who's going to tell you all about his betting exchange. Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. My name is Christian. I'm one of the co-founders of BX, and I'd like to give you a briefly introduction to BX. What is it? At the end, we are developing BX as a blockchain-based betting and prediction market ecosystem with the goal and overall vision to change the way that the world bets today. We are creating a whole new betting experience by combining blockchain technologies with the most advanced betting concept out there on the market, which is a betting exchange. And by toggling these together, we will create a whole new betting experience where user can take over the role of the bookmaker, create their own markets, directly participate in the success of these markets, place and offer bets with self-determined odds, and even participate in the outcome determination of a market. And all this by using our newly created BX tokens, which is conceived to become the global standard for all betting and gambling application within the BX ecosystem. And with this concept, we're really trying to solve the problems of the current betting industry.
So does this mean we're talking about the betting industry as in betting on horses as well as betting on futures and currency?
Exactly. So what we're doing with BX, we're not concentrating on like one specific market vertical like you see nowadays on the centralized world. The good thing is because we are implementing a full betting exchange that opens up huge opportunities for other market verticals. So we have on the one hand, we have sports betting, which is of course the major thing in betting because sports and betting have been bedfellows for centuries. In addition to that, we're also concentrating highly on esports because I think esports betting is becoming more and more popular and is like the greatest trend in betting at the moment. But we're not limited to that. We're also doing integrating the full functionality of prediction markets so that you can predict on the outcome of certain events. I think the most popular example in this case is always who's going to be the next president. And then as the third market vertical, we are also concentrating on financial, so you can bet on the future of cryptocurrencies, of oil, on prices, and all this.
I think betting on who's going to be the next president, that's quite an easy one. That's quite an interesting one. So what is wrong with the system at the moment? I can put a bet on a horse, Fossey's Folly, or some other name that's been made up for the horse in a pub. I can do a bet on my phone. I can do that. The horse comes in and I either win some money or lose some money. What's wrong with that process at the moment?
So there at the moment in this industry you have like multiple problems. You have from like the gambler, from the user side, you have the problem that you have always a lack of trust in the market because if you want to bet on something, you have to create an account and then deposit your funds in the hand of the centralized bookmaker, and then he's in charge of all your funds for quite a while as long as it is on this platform. And there have been some black sheep on the markets which run away with your money. Another important point is lack of transparency. At the moment, you just enter like a normal betting operator page, and then you don't have any insight on how the bets were calculated, if they are stacked too much in favor of the bookmakers, if they are fair. You don't have any insights on the order book. You don't know why odds are changing. And this leads really to a lack of transparency from a gambler perspective. Another really important point is limitation and restrictions. If you are really successful at some, like for example, let's take it back to the horse racing. You like predicted and betted on the right horse for like 3 or 4 games in a row and won big. Then centralized bookmakers will come in and restrict you in the money that you are able to bet in the future. You can't withdraw all your money at once. So there's a big interference of these providers. But also from another perspective, if you look at it from the perspective of the provider, you have a high struggle with high costs because of the high amount of security that you have to establish by taking all the player funds and managing them. You have to struggle with banks, which is taking funds in a lot of different currencies, and this is also results in high costs for them. And all these problems can be solved if you like using blockchain technologies, especially smart contracts, and that's what makes it so exciting.
I see. So, with your platform, could I become the bookmaker? Could I be the one taking the bets?
Yes. So the first thing to understand is that bx is going to be a betting exchange. So that means you don't bet against like a centralized or like against a bookmaker, which is like a central authority. It's peer-to-peer. So you bet user against user. So you have like a certain outcome, and the certain outcome have two sides. On the one hand, you have the side that you believe that the outcome will happen. That will be a buy order. And then on the other side, you have the belief that the outcome won't happen. That's the sell order. And you can take over both sides of each individual bet. But for bx, we took it even one step ahead, and you cannot just do it for single bets. You can create your own markets. That means we created a concept which is called market owner concept. And with this market owner concept, you could become a market owner, create your own market. And then if you provide liquidity on this market all the time, you even receive a share of all wagers placed on your market. So we opened up for opportunity for people to directly participate in the success of their market, and which is on the one hand a really great thing, and on the other hand we are also tackling the problem which you have on like peer-to-peer markets, that some of these really run out of liquidity, and then you have like a bunch of markets available on a platform or in an ecosystem where there's no liquidity, and so that no one can bet. And with the creation of this market owner concept, we really tackling this issue by providing a solution for providing liquidity all the time.
Fantastic. That opens up a wealth of possibilities for people. What are the downsides of doing this, if any?
I think the downsides of this is that you always have like on the one hand, you're really trying to enhance freedom of betting, and on the other hand, you give you give a lot of control. So at the end, there could be some markets which result in being fake, joke, or even have legal issues, like we saw recently on Augur with all these assassination markets coming up. And I think this is a potential problem. For bx, we solved that with creating approval of the community, because we believe in the end the community will have a huge interest in keeping the ecosystem clean and have just valid betting markets on this. So how does it go? If you create a market, it's not listed directly. It has to go through a community approval, and if the community says, okay, this is a valid market, it will be listed. And we believe that this goes within or hand in hand with the paradigm of decentralization and giving back the power to the people, but on the other hand also have some kind of control mechanism that things don't get out of control.
So have you set up any of your own markets, or are you letting your users to deal with that side of things?
You mean us as a company?
Yes.
We will do, mainly it will be up to the users, but we also encourage like other professional bookmakers could also be potentially putting up markets because they are able to provide a lot of liquidity, especially for big markets. We're not keeping them away. We say, okay, you can do it because part of our free structure is also affiliate commission, which encourage these people to create own events and then distribute a lot of liquidity and at the end participate directly in the success of the market.
Absolutely. And have you spoken to any of the large betting houses?
The thing is that our team is quite I think one of the most experienced teams out there, because each of our team members work for all of these big players in the industry. We founded several companies in this industry, sold some, and also created decentralized bookmakers. So we are really well connected and know the industry from the beginning to the multi-million industry that it becomes today. And we can really utilize our network in there.
Fabulous. So it sounds like you've got a really good base. Where are you at the moment? Is this released? Can we start being our own bookmakers tomorrow?
So where we are at the moment is we are deeply in the development phase. We just released our MVP, which allows full blockchain-based betting. We also implemented the exchange functionality there so that you can get really impression how betting on the blockchain with the betting exchange feels like. And the coming months we are continuing with the developing of the platform. We're also going to have our token sale then, and hopefully it's planned to have the private alpha ready end of the year.
Okay, fabulous. So we've got a token sale coming up, so that's
Yes.
something people should be looking for. And I imagine all the details for this and your white paper are on your website. And what's the website?
It's bx.bet.
bx.bet.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So our users can go to that and find out more. What about betting on financial markets? Is that going to be included as well? Because I know there's a lot of regulation around that.
Yes. So we are really going to tackle this market vertical. I know that there are quite a few regulations that's why we are doing the step-by-step approach. We're starting with really concentrating on sports and prediction markets to get that right, and then we are fully focusing on financial markets and get the regulative side of it and make it fully compliant, so that at the end the ecosystem consists these markets in a full legal manner. And that's where we are concentrating on, mainly mid or beginning of next year. We started already the talks with authorities and regulators, but we will fully go into this.
And how are you controlling that from your side of things? Because it must be difficult with the financial constraints for different countries. Are you just operating in one country, or is it global? And how do you bring all those constructs that you've got to work within into the platform?
So what we're doing, or what we're trying to do, what we are striving for, is to I think on blockchain it's quite easy and quite nice that you can also do nice KYC and AML processes. And on what we are trying to find out and together with the regulators and the authorities at the moment is to find the right path between like freedom of the blockchain, because it's certainly accessible from all over the world, but on the other hand make it compliant so that you can stick to some regulatory specific of a country, and that's where we're concentrating on at the moment.
That sounds like a very onerous task, and something which doesn't sound too much like fun, but it's definitely necessary.
Yes, the good thing is we are quite experienced in this space, and we saw how like authorities and regulations really had a good impact on the whole industry and made it as successful as it is today. And so we believe that even that you have the sort of decentralization and really distributed ecosystem, it can still comply with regulators and really just take betting to a next level. And I think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely. So is anybody else doing this or trying to do it, or are you the first people in the market that's actually bringing a platform such as this into fruition?
There's always competition, but I think all of these other projects have like different focuses. Like you have, of course, the most favorite thing or like famous thing is Augur, who's fully concentrating on prediction markets. Then you have like a few other ventures who are also concentrating on the casino and gambling side, but for like implementing the full functionality of a betting exchange with all these market verticals and this deep knowledge in the concept. I think we're the only one at the moment.
Fabulous. Yes, I've looked through your white paper, and it certainly seems very, very cohesive, and it looks like you've put a lot of effort into this. Is there anything your platform won't be able to do? What are the constraints, shall we say?
So I think that the most important thing we are working on at the moment is to make it as performant and as the normal user is used to it from centralized bookmakers, and that's something we are fully concentrating on at the moment, because I think the most important thing for such a product like BX is that in the end it has to be really user friendly and it has to be really easy to use, and so that for the normal user there shouldn't be any disadvantages of using it from a user experience and user interface perspective. And I think this is what we are fully concentrating from a user experience perspective on, because it can just be successful if it really gains mainstream adoption. And I believe we are on a really good path there. And as long as we're finding good solutions where I'm really comfortable at the moment for the performance, then BX can really be successful in this crowded area.
I wish you all the success in the world. And from looking at your website, there's certainly a lot of big players which are behind this and are paying a vested interest into this platform. So if you are listening, people, and you're interested, then bx.bet is the website, and you can subscribe on the website to the initial coin offering and updates. It's certainly very, very interesting, and I like this idea of giving power to the people so that anybody out there can have their own betting platform, and especially with their fantasy football leagues and things like that. I'm sure this will add another element to some of those competitions people are having with their friends out there. Out of interest, where did this idea come from? Did this idea come from, I run a betting company, what's the future? Or did it come from, the blockchain looks good, how can we use that in the betting industry?
I think a combination of both. Me personally, I'm coming more from the interest of blockchain and of database technologies and tech side. And then I sit together with the team, and we're like brainstorming about the future of betting, and also then we brought in blockchain technologies, and we really encountered really fast that this could really make a difference in the whole industry and really be the next evolutionary step of betting. And with these thoughts put together, it got really quick that we fully got into BX last year.
It's always interesting when we talk about blockchain, about the opportunities that blockchain does provide in every area of business. And as we've seen with this podcast and our previous interviews, a lot of different and diverse platforms are coming to the fore just simply because blockchain exists, and this decentralized approach is ideal for so many businesses. How many years do you think it will take you to destabilize the current betting industry, shall we say?
I think as soon as the platform will launch with full functionality mid of next year, and we found good solutions for the performance, it will make a huge buzz in the industry, because I think also the big players will see, this has a lot of advantages, and will also start really looking into these technologies and the idea and new paradigm. And I think it will have a huge impact really soon, especially as the gambling world and the cryptocurrency world is like somehow connected. It's all people who like to try out new things, who like to bet on things, and I think that's why there will be a really fast adoption for an ecosystem and application like ours.
Fabulous. Well, we all look forward to that, and I think this is a great platform. It's something which I think is going to take some investigation and work out the dynamics of how this actually works. But I'm certainly going to have a look at it and see how I can make some money, because it sounds ideal for that. Not only that sort of bet against friends in the pub scenario, but also cryptocurrencies. Let's start putting our money where our mouths are on where cryptocurrency is going, and see whether we can do some leverage spread betting on that. Fabulous. Thank you, Christian. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. And listeners, if you're still out there and you're still listening, then please tweet us at blockchain_show. So please tweet us if you've got this far in the podcast at blockchain_show. And the phrase we want you to actually tweet us is, "I've bet on the horses." So if you've got this far, let us know you got this far and send us the phrase, "I've bet on the horses," and that's at blockchain_show. Thank you very much for downloading. This has been me, Ian, bringing more information and fun, interesting blockchain projects to you. And today it's been betting with bx.bet. Thank you, Christian, and thank you all for downloading. And until the next time, have fun out there in blockchain land. Thank you. And we're done.
To learn more, visit theblockchainshow.com.
Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music, like old times. Look, now I'll start the melody on the organ.
Welcome
To the Blockchain After Show.
I really wish I would have been more serious that time.
You can do it again.
No, it's okay. We should go with it.
Go with it.
Thanks.
So, our friend, Christian Lenz, has recommended an article, I see. Correct?
Blockchain in action, 5 interesting examples. A look at 5 areas where blockchain projects are showing tangible progress, including supply chain, real estate, and healthcare. I think we've had episodes on each of those. Supply chain, we did the ship chain. It's kind of the first and only one, though. Real estate, we've had a few. Healthcare, only one. We should do more on healthcare.
Yes, I'm quite interested. You were trying to explain something to me this morning about that very thing. Can you try now? Maybe it'll work this time. But there was something that happened with healthcare. In England? Did you say?
Yeah,
where healthcare records were?
That was a long time ago. Maybe we should just put a link to this article in the show notes. But what I was trying to say earlier was they had some old Windows XP system where they were keeping people's health records, and they were hacked, and it was a centralized thing. So one password, each person normally has like one password, an email, or a username, and it's not very secure. But they had all their data. There's only one copy of it, so it may seem more secure to them. But if they was on the blockchain, everybody's data would be out there, but only accessible to the people who had the private keys that would make it work, if that makes sense. So it's not stored on one computer or one centralized location. It's on every computer that has a copy of the blockchain. But you can only see that public key, public address. It's like you know that it exists, when it was created, and each time it gets accessed or whatever, or It doesn't quite make sense to a lot of people because they think that that's not as secure because it's all out there. But you know from your experience when you lost your Jack's wallet, yeah, it's out there, but you can't. There's no way you can access it now.
I'm not getting it back.
For those who don't know.
Yeah. Back up your stuff. I learned the hard way. I seem to choose that route often, but, now I know. Back it up. I had to get my phone wiped. There it goes.
Broken screen and a lost Bitcoin and Ether wallet.
Gosh, why didn't I spend it? God, I could have gone to saxophone lessons or something astrology related. Now it's just like eternally just in the vacuum of where does it go? It's just there. Just making everything else more valuable, right? You're welcome, world.
I guess that's how that works.
That's what I like to do, contribute to
So,
society.
can you explain blockchain to non-techies? Read our related story, How to Explain Blockchain in Plain English. Maybe we should have started with that.
Yeah, let's do that. How to explain blockchain in plain English. Arm yourself with definitions that will help you explain blockchain to others. One expert compares it to a school lunch trade by Kevin Casey. For all the hype around blockchain, most businesses are barely tinkering with it right now, if they're doing anything at all. A recent Gartner survey of CIOs found that 43% of respondents said that blockchain was on their radar, but they had no concrete plans in the works, while 34% said they simply weren't interested. A scant 1% of CIOs reported any kind of blockchain adoption in their organization. Change is coming. Research firm IDC, among others, predicts booming growth, expecting worldwide spending on blockchain-related spending to hit $9.7 billion in 2021, up from around $2 billion this year. But what's the holdup for IT leaders? Gartner points to one reason in its survey results. Blockchain engineering skills are hard to come by and, as a result, are expensive. People who do not understand blockchain sometimes have a hard time explaining it succinctly. There's another issue. Many people still don't understand what blockchain is. Moreover, people who do understand it sometimes have a hard time explaining it succinctly, especially if they have to do it in non-technical terms that a wide audience can understand. A lack of internal knowledge and a lack of affordable talent on the open market, notes Dr. Werner Krebs, CEO at Acculation, pretty much rules out any near-term jobs with the kind of definitions that help them explain blockchain to others. We asked Krebs and a slew of others who work closely in and around blockchain technologies to help, starting with a simple question. How do you explain blockchain in plain English that just about anyone can understand? We've collected their explanations so that you can pick and choose the ones that make the most sense to you. Marta Piekarska, Director of Ecosystem at Hyperledger, quote, blockchain is an unchangeable, distributed way to store records of events. It is not a distributed database, as one does not usually store information on a blockchain, only attestation to events that occurred. It is shared through a peer-to-peer network, and in order to put information on a blockchain, participants must agree on a common version of truth. In other words, it is a technology to store and exchange information within a group in a reliable, trustworthy, and efficient manner. Gordon Half, technology evangelist at Red Hat, says, blockchain has a number of characteristics that distinguish it from traditional databases. Committed transactions can't be altered, only added. The members of a business network, rather than some single party, have copies of that record and determine which transactions can be added. A transaction, such as a delivery, can automatically trigger another transaction, such as a payment, using smart contracts. End quote.
What else do we got? Shout out to Walla. Do you remember them?
Hey, Walla.
About a year ago.
Walla Walla.
We had them on.
Walla Walla, Washington.
With that other guy. What was his name? Actually, we got two more. So Walla awarded the 2018 Zambezi Prize for Innovation and Financial Inclusion.
Go Walla, go Walla.
And this is Nairobi, Kenya, August 30th. The Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, with support from the MasterCard Foundation, has named South African startup Walla as the grand prize winner of its 2018 Zambezi Prize for Innovation and Financial Inclusion. The announcement came during the Open Mic Africa Summit in Nairobi in August 29th, 2018. So just to put out there that there was stuff going on in Africa. I think Ian maybe had a few too many drinks at Epcot when he said
that there's nothing going on. Yeah, he was just, there was nothing going on in the Epcot one. But hey, rock on Walla, folks. That was a fun picture too.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So there's some more finalists: Apollo Agriculture, Bidisa, Farm Drive, Farmer Line in Ghana, South Africa, Ma Tontine.
Nailed it.
Okay. Yeah, doing good. Congratulations. Get some money. Okay, the last one was kind of funny. Steam, which is like an online video game service, pulled an indie game accused of being an elaborate cryptocurrency mining scam. Have you heard of this?
No.
So there was a game on Steam called Abstractism. It was pulled from the marketplace after users complained that it was hijacking their computers to mine cryptocurrency, and that the game developers were scamming players with in-game assets.
Wow,
Brilliant.
Sneakers.
Valve pulled an indie game from its digital games marketplace, Steam, that was allegedly a front for a cryptocurrency mining operation. The scam is known as cryptojacking, where hackers force a victim's computer to dedicate resources to guessing the correct value that validates a block of cryptocurrency.
Now you may go to the next level.
All right, you made us some money. Now make us some more.
Proceed to next.
I was wondering why our computer's so slow lately. Just kidding. The process is extremely resource intensive and can lead to overheating and slowdowns. Cryptocurrency mining can be lucrative as miners are rewarded with digital coins, which scammers receive without having to buy their own computers to do the mining with. Man, people are hilarious. So players allege that the developers also used the game to generate counterfeit digital items it used to scam unsuspecting customers. Developer Okalo Union and publisher Dead.team released Extractism on Steam on March 15th. In the simple platform, players move blocks around a 2D space while soothing music plays. Well, at least they get the soothing music. It's an absolutely trivial platformer, but the only real special feature there is game over. Okay, I didn't read that right. I'm going to keep going because it's the after show and I'm tired. But instead, there is an ASMR soundtrack, a stylish, minimalistic design, and a relaxing atmosphere inside, says the poorly worded official description. There were some immediate red flags. For one, the developers incentivized players to leave the game running even when not in use, with the promise of rare items.
Promise. It's rare and
keep
special.
Reading, but I think you...
I get it.
I think you get to...
Oh, super rare gem. Super special pretend gem. Just solve this one question.
Around 6,000 users had downloaded the game and digital items were added a week ago. Okay, well, there's a sucker born every minute.
Careful with the pointing of the fingers.
Sorry, don't be...
There's a couple suckers right here.
I don't think you got suckered into losing your phone and having it break and having to... I think that's more...
I am ultimately responsible for everything in my life. So I guess I asked for it.